Well, hello everyone. I have right here, I'm talking about right here of screenshots and modifications for for multiple, images right here, talking about equipment and, machinery and other sorts of photographs. But I'm sure that most of us have seen these before to where that, you're talking about, like you have right here is the selections of the swatches and all that right here. But these right here, your photographs right here, they're taken up of the equipment right here, and you can see this right here, talking about whenever it comes to looking and editing, looking at a photograph and editing a photograph. But I have right here these options right here where you mask and then create a new layer, and of course you got these selections right here. But you have right here for shadows, and you have right here for whites and blacks, and then you have right here for highlights and contrast right here, and then you have this picture right here, that shows right here like the information about the equipment right here. But you see right here is I can actually zoom in on this picture right here, and so it's like yeah. So when we do talk about multiple screenshots right here, we're also talking about as toward okay, yeah, even if you did rotate a photograph, or if anything, if you're going to be looking at a certain angle or something like that, but still. But to have right here of a Photoshop Lightroom right here, and then you have right here of a few screenshots right here. And it's like, yeah, so whenever you do look at this right here and think as to where the daylight, and then the contrast, and then also the shade right here, black and white. And so it's like when we look at this right here, and you're thinking as to where okay, yeah, that there's a difference between taking the photograph and actually going back and doing editing, and also verifying modification or anything like that. But you have right here of this photograph right here, and I'll go and show everybody here, like some of these tools. So you got the select tool right here, and then the eyedropper tool, and then you got the paintbrush, and then the clone stamp tool right here. The paint buckets right here, paint tool. And you got a few of these other typing tools right here, the pen tool right here. But when we're talking about an actual photograph, though, the hand tool right here. So if I were to be using the hand tool right here, like this right here is like a screenshot image right here of working in Lightroom right here, Photoshop Lightroom. But if I were to zoom in real closely at this right here, you can see right here that move the hand tool, and I'm able to move the image around a little bit more, and so it's like, yeah, so if we would actually zoom in right here, but I'm sure everybody would say is toward that what you could do whenever it comes to adjusting the image, right? And want to know too that whenever you do adjust the image, that it seems like is toward it when we're talking about for adjustments. And I'll go ahead and adjust the exposure right here, and you can see right here that changes that you can make it lighter and darker right here, to a point where you can actually see but you see, but you have right here you have these selections right here, these tools right here, and want to know that that whenever you look real closely at the image right here, but still, I want to go ahead and show everybody here this option right here where you can actually create a duplicate. You can duplicate a layer right here. So you have right here, like you can create a duplicate layer right here. And really, what is the main purpose for that? Like anybody says to where, really, that I can go, that, and then if I want to go ahead and duplicate it, duplicate the layer from here, and I call that copy, or if anything, you call it how about lighter value or something like that. Lighter value, and so if I have another layer right here, that creates a duplicate layer right there. So if I want to make any changes, to the photograph, or to make any changes to the screenshot, then I will be able to duplicate the layer right there. So you got the duplicate layer, and if there was anything that I want to go ahead and edit right here, like so far as eyedropper tool, and then you have right here the typing tool right here, and so if I were to actually type anything right here, and I could show something like for high-tech maintenance, I could maybe put something like high-tech maintenance or something like that. So if you can see this right here, that I'm typing that for high-tech maintenance right here, and if we can see this right here, that typing it in there, and then knowing that typing it in there right there, and want to know too that typing it in there, and then thickness tool that I go ahead and create just high. I know I'm trying high-tech maintenance, but still. Oh, I'm trying to get it all in there. High-tech. So so a lot of, let's say that what do you think disease or something like that, or how it's but anyway so you have right here of this right here actually shows right here for high-tech maintenance right here, and you got right here is the temperature, and you you got these different editing tools right here, along with how to duplicate a layer right here, and so it's like so you have right here that I'm like so any changes or anything like modifications or anything, but still that whenever you do think about a photograph, a lot of times that you're thinking is toward that you had this option to where you can actually make adjustments to the photograph right here, and then but then also the layers right here. So if you would actually were to look at these layers right here along with the text and writing right here, and thinking is toward that the things of your ability for what you can do with a lot of this editing software, but still that you're thinking is toward you look at a lot of these right here and thinking is toward that you take a photograph of something like some equipment, and then you're going to be working with the details right here and trying to just so you can recognize the images of the information about that equipment, and also anything else that you're going to be looking at and trying to modify the image and all that. But it sure seems that way, that whenever you do look at a photograph, though, that you're thinking is toward if there's anything more that you can do with a photograph, and like a lot of photographers would say is toward you maybe take multiple photographs of something, and you want to know too that why is it that one photograph is not as good as compared to maybe multiple photographs, maybe 10 or maybe 25 total photographs, one looking sideways, and then one or darker values, or one where you can actually zoom in, and but you have right here that the zoom quality right here. So whenever you do look at a photograph right here, and like everybody says, to where if you're going to be looking at a photograph and want to know that that you would like to go ahead and try to lighten it up, so that way you can read the details right there on the labels right there, and then so it's like So if I were to actually lighten this up right here, and maybe make a few adjustments, and then click OK right there, and if I were to actually duplicate this and create duplicate a layer right there, and then create just a background copy, or if I want to go ahead and maybe call this the brightness or something like that. You can give it a name, background brightness or something like that. Copy, just give it a name, and if you want to duplicate a layer right there, and that duplicates a layer. So so you're able to duplicate duplicate the layer right there, and so like a lot of professionals might even say that really, why would you want to duplicate a layer like that? Just because of the fact, that's just because if you changed your mind about a change or like an edit that you were working with without hurting the original, or like everybody say, if you're just experimenting around with it and just thinking this tour, okay, that the main reason why you would do that, you would go ahead and create a duplicate layer is mainly because of the fact, so that way you can go ahead and make changes, right? You can just, but still, like everybody say that, if you're going to make changes to the photograph, for sure, that, you say is to where, okay, So a lot of experts would even say that whenever you look at, you save your changes here, but then if you were to, send it to a client, or if you were to be, talking, showing somebody what the results were whenever you take a photograph of something, and you want to know too that could you please show me a little bit of how you were able to you were able to recognize the equipment, or recognize what you were working on, you recognize the maintenance issue that you were having. And one thing with a lot of the iPhones now is that you can actually take a photograph. You can take multiple photographs, but it's like, you talk about how to sync photographs. I'm like, how to be able to store them to a cloud and all, but still, that but I have right here of this photograph right here, where you had these zoom options right here. So like everybody might say that, that whenever you first took the photograph, by the way, that you were not exactly sure what this said right here until you look really closely at what was printed on that machinery right there. So like everybody might say that you go ahead and take a photograph of something, and you're 102 that you weren't quite sure what it said until you actually were able to zoom in a little bit on it. But printed on metal right here, and if we can see this right here, but if you zoomed in real closely at that, I'm like, you will be able to look very closely and just kind of see, a little bit of the details right there of what it said right there, what it says. But I'll go ahead and go to the next image so that way we can see this right here, but still. So it's like, if you zoom real closely at the image, for sure you will be able to recall, what it says right here. But, still, that it's like, so each time you think about photographs, though, that whenever you do take a photograph of something, and at 102, okay, modifications, and also looking very closely at the image and knowing about, okay, what does this say right here? And so I'll go and just do some adjustments right here. If we can also, curves and levels and color balance right here. I don't know if we've all seen, the color balance, but you actually make adjustments to color balance right there. And the color balance right there. And so if I were to make changes right there, I don't know, CMYK or about the highlights, but so if I were to make a few adjustments right here, but yeah, that right there is for the duplicated layer right there, and so it's like so if you were to actually create a separate layer for that, for sure, that you're 102 that so if you were to create a separate layer, a duplicate layer, and want to know that, okay, yeah, that creating a duplicate layer, and for sure that really, what is the main reason why you would want to do that? And like everybody says, like, well, really, that what you are really are trying to do is that whenever it comes to understanding about the photographs and everything, that whenever you do create a duplicate layer, you're making changes, you're doing edits, and so whenever you do that, a lot of that information for sure, like yeah, not everybody can see that right there. Not everybody can actually not everybody can see over the fact that with the layers and adjustments and all that. But anyway, try to pull up the layer, yeah. So yeah, not everybody can really see all this right here. So it's like, unless if you share it with somebody else, and then for sure that they're not going to be able to see all that right there. But you have right here, I'm talking about with the photographs, and also like yeah, talking about with camera raw and everything. But still, whenever you do look at an actual photograph, for sure that want to know that you're able to zoom in on the photograph, and actually able to zoom in real closely just to be able to see, like just to modify the photograph. But they have right here, this right here is Lightroom, but then this right here will be Photoshop right here. But anyway, but talk about the basic about multiple photographs using Photoshop.